Hello friends, I want to talk about some important websites that will speed up your work here. These sites are tools aimed at speeding up your workflow and quickly finding what you want without searching for models, textures, or HDRs all over the place. Friends. One of them is SketchUpFreeModel.com, friends. FreeModel.com here is a site that contains models, both from us and those sent to us by users, friends. Completely free. You can use the models you download from here. Look, there are background images, here called background images. You actually have the chance to use background images in place of HDR in the background. Besides that, there are many models here. You can download and use these. Our second part is texture, texturefun.com. I had shown it before, friends. The textures, especially the wood textures, are very successful. You again have the chance to download these for free, friends. There is a mistake users make in the downloading section. When you enter the texture, friends, for example, at the bottom part, when choosing 1K, 2K, 4K, let's say you selected 2K. You wait, friends. After the seconds are over here, the download button appears here. Friends, this is very important. Look, normally you wait above, but it appears below. It gives a slight surprise. The download button is here. You can download it from here. Here, information is also provided on how the textures should be used. Friends, there is a texture site called Ambient CG, friends. Look, there are 2,283 here. There are very detailed textures here. You can use these as well. Look, when I enter the asset section, there are many detailed textures here. These are also free. You can use these. There is polyhaven.com. Polyhaven.com is the site where we downloaded our HDR, as you may know. Regarding that, look, there are HDR, textures, and models here, friends. If you enter the HDR section, there are HDRs. If you enter the texture section, there are textures. And if you enter the model section, there are models, friends. There are many materials here. The other one is 3dtextures.com, friends. Textures me is spelled as me. Here, friends, you can use the textures on the left side. There are quite detailed and high-quality textures available. Well, everyone knows 3D Warehouse as a model site. It's SketchUp's own site, friends. 3dwarehouse.sketchup.com. For SketchUp users, if your SketchUp is not original, 3D Warehouse will not work within SketchUp. You need to access 3dwarehouse.sketchup.com from your browser at this address. Another site is gtrader.com, friends. This site also sells paid models, but there are free models as well. It's enough to type your model or what you're searching for in the search section here. Or you can search for models from the sections below. Friends, all of these sites are important for your progress, friends. Sections with very high quality models, as well as textures and coatings, are the same. In summary, I want to give you a tip, friends. Normally, let's say the texture library inside Cosmos here, for example, the texture library here, or the texture library in Enscape, when you use them, since they are used by everyone, the works produced always look the same in terms of visual familiarity. So most users use these, or I want to show you from the Enscape library here. Where is Enscape? Enscape's own thing is here. Since they used these from the texture library in the Enscape library, again, here, the resulting works are always identical to each other. Even if the design is different, what happens when you use the same texture? Well, this time, everything looks similar, friends. To break this similarity, you can download textures from the texture sites here. For example, let's say you came here. You used the textures by downloading them from Polyhaven in the textures section here. Since not many people know about these sites, and the textures here are of high quality, it will also affect the quality of your work. So, continue using the sites here, friends. There are very high quality models, very high quality textures, and materials available. Using these will make your work more realistic and of higher quality. In our next lesson, I will talk about direct SketchUp tips, friends. They are also somewhat important, because if you apply them at the beginning while setting up, you will achieve very fast results.